In this country, you steal a car. You might lose your hand. In this one, they'll strap you down and whip you with a cane moving faster than a speeding bullet. And in this one, you could be back on the streets in months, sometimes with nothing but a fine. Same crime, 3 different countries. And these aren't hypotheticals. These are real cases, real people, real consequences, all documented in actual news reports and court records. By the end of this video, you'll never look at the word justice the same way again. Let's start with America. And here's something most people don't realize. The punishment depends entirely on which state you're standing in, and even which county. Take a real case from Charlotte County, Florida. In 2024, a man was caught driving a stolen transit van. Police tracked down the vehicle's owners, who confirmed they never gave him permission. He was arrested, put on trial, and convicted. And the judge handed him the maximum sentence allowed, 5 years in prison. But here's the twist. In that exact same country, someone committing the identical crime in a different state might walk away with nothing more than probation. Why? Because in most US states, grand theft auto is what lawyers call a wobbler, a crime that can be charged as either a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on the value of the car, your criminal record, and the specific circumstances of the theft. If the stolen car is worth more than $65,000, courts in states like California will add an extra year to your sentence. Cross $200,000 in value, and that's 2 additional years, automatically. Use the stolen car to commit another crime, say, fleeing from police, and you're suddenly facing an entirely new set of charges stacked on top of the original theft. Then there's the infamous 3 strikes law, active in states like California. Get convicted of a felony 3 separate times, even for something as ordinary as repeated car theft, and a judge can sentence you to life in prison with no possibility of parole. No 4th chances. Meanwhile, first-time offenders in states like New York often qualify for community-based programs instead of jail. The entire philosophy leans toward rehabilitation for people who've never broken the law before. So in America, the punishment isn't really about the crime. It's about geography, timing, and luck. But if you think America's system is unpredictable, wait until you hear what happens 9,000 miles away. Welcome to Singapore, one of the safest, cleanest cities on the entire planet. And there's a very specific reason for that. In 1994, an American teenager named Michael Fay was arrested here for a string of vandalism offenses, spray painting and damaging more than a dozen cars across the city. The court sentence shocked the entire world: judicial caning. He was originally sentenced to 6 strokes of the cane. The case became so internationally controversial that the President of the United States personally requested leniency. Singapore's response? They reduced it to 4 strokes and carried it out anyway in May of 1994. Here's what caning actually involves, because most people have no idea. A rattan cane strikes the body at speeds intense enough that a licensed medical officer has to stand next to the prisoner the entire time, ready to stop the punishment if the body can't take another hit. It only takes 3 strikes to break the skin. The scarring is permanent for life. And this isn't some outdated relic of the past. In 2010, 16 years after Michael Fay, a Swiss man was caned for the exact same type of crime: spray painting graffiti on a train car. 3 strokes, 5 months in prison, a fine of over $1,000. For actual theft of a vehicle specifically, Singapore's penal code allows for up to 7 years in prison, plus fines, plus caning, depending on how the crime is classified. And the results speak for themselves. Singapore's violent crime rate runs over 1,000% lower than the United States, according to comparative crime data. Singapore's philosophy is brutally simple: make the punishment so physically painful, so publicly humiliating, that almost nobody dares to try. Okay, that's brutal, but nothing, and I mean nothing, prepares you for what happens in Saudi Arabia. Under Saudi Arabia's interpretation of Islamic law, theft can lead to amputation, losing a hand permanently. This is not rare fiction, and it's not ancient history. In December of 2014, Saudi Arabia's own interior ministry publicly confirmed that a man convicted of multiple robberies had his right hand surgically amputated as punishment. The only such case carried out that particular year. Human rights organizations tracking the practice have documented several similar cases over the past decade, roughly 1 every year or 2. Now, here's an important detail most videos skip entirely. This punishment isn't handed out for every theft case. Saudi courts have wide discretion, and specific legal conditions under Islamic jurisprudence must be met before amputation is even considered. The vast majority of theft cases, including car theft, result in imprisonment and fines instead. Amputation is reserved for the most severe, repeated offenses, often robbery rather than simple theft. But the fact that this punishment is still legally on the books and has been physically carried out as recently as the 2010s is exactly what makes Saudi Arabia's justice system one of the most feared and most internationally criticized in the world. Organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have condemned it repeatedly, calling it a form of torture under international law. Saudi authorities, meanwhile, defend it as a legitimate deterrent rooted in centuries of religious and legal tradition. So here's the question that should genuinely be blowing your mind right now. Singapore and Saudi Arabia both report dramatically lower crime rates than the United States. So does harsh, physical punishment actually create safer societies? Or does America's more forgiving, rehabilitation-focused system secretly cause more long-term damage by letting repeat offenders cycle back onto the streets again and again? There's no clean answer here. Every single country on Earth is essentially running its own uncontrolled experiment on human behavior, and the results are still being written, one court case at a time. Which punishment shocked you the most? Comment the country below. I genuinely want to know. Here's something to sit with before you go. Every country builds its justice system around what it values most: fear, fairness, or control. There's no perfect system, just different prices for the exact same mistake. If this video opened your eyes to how different the world really is, you're going to love what's coming next, because crime and punishment is just the beginning. There are entire hidden worlds of laws and consequences that most people never get to see. So hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready. Because trust me, it only gets crazier from here.